ready to go? All right. I think we're going to get started here with our second half. Very exciting. We're going to kick it off with Melody. Melody, I'm going to introduce you here. You probably already have in your slide, but Melody is her research project is co-developed project for research-bound student. I guess you're going to talk more about that. And Mohammed, boy, I'm gonna butcher the last name. You want to help me out?
Hey, Daddy.
Okay.
Hey, Darren.
Mohammed, we'll do you justice here. But anyway, yeah, we'll hand over to Melody, and we're excited to hear from you.
Thank you, Jeff. So during this summer, I worked in energy optimization analysis. We carry out with CBS and MatPower using MATLAB. And my mentor, Mohammed, hey, Daddy. So what is energy optimization? Energy optimization involves analyzing multiple options to determine the most power efficient power generation units and resources based on a specific criteria. So we formulating unit commitment and economic dispatch as economic optimization problems and use in renewable integration studies to analyze the changes in system costs, emissions, and reliability. So what was the goals of this research? What we did, understanding mathematically how to formulate these kinds of optimizations problems, how to solve them, learn how to solve them, and learn how to optimize energy grids, planning using analytical optimization formulations, and also learn how to use existing software packages to solve real problems in the real world. So why is optimization important? Why we are doing this? The optimizations and the operation of our energy can be improved economically and environmentally. So do optimizations analysis is always good and is also aligned into the Acep visions in different kinds of projects. Because with optimizations, we can reduce costs, we can reduce carbon footprint, we can improve reliability, efficiency, resilience. So this is something that can be applied to almost any project that is related to different kinds of energies and technologies. It can be wind, it can be solar, it can be nuclear, it can be almost anything. So one example is the real build the car project, but it's not the only thing that we can apply here. So how we did this? Understanding the concept, reading a lot of tutorials, recordings, a lot of literature, formulating simple optimizations problems and comparing them to the coding and the outputs that we are having, learning about optimization softwares, packages as CBS and through MATLAB, and CBS as disciplines of convex programming and MATLAB as power system modeling. So experimenting energy grid optimizations as scenarios, and also thinking beyond and discuss about how we can apply all these ideas and all these skills to problems here in Alaska. So here we have a really basic problem. We have just 3 boxes, we have 2 generators and 2 demands. And this is a really common problem. We are going to use this as a market problem. So we want to know how much power have to generate each generator for an offer price and a brief price and a wafer. So the question is, what the production of generator 1 and 2? So we have the objective, the utility demands, the total of cost generations, and we establish the limitations that we have. It's important to mention that this is just for this example, but you can add any parameter that you need and whatever parameter that you want to use in your model. So for this problem, we are using consumption limits, generation limits, power balance, and line power flow. So how we do use CBS in these kinds of problems, and normally we can see them in math way. in a math way. So we put the inputs of the parameters. We identify the topology, which is the locations, the connections. We also identify the capacity of the generators. As we can see here, G1 has a maximum capacity of 100 megawatts, and G2 has a maximum capacity of 80. So we also have the offer price of the generators, 12 and 20. We have the maximum loops of the demands, which the maximum in total is 150. And the utility of demands, the capacity of transmission lines, the substance, and the transmission lines. Then when we put all these inputs and identify all the parameters, we can apply the linear programming solver. And in this case, it's linear because all our parameters are linear. It's a convex problem. And then we have the results. The results that CBS gave us is the answer of the question that we have. So for this utility demand, for this offer price, for these maximum loads, generator 1 is generating 100 megawatts and generator 2, 50. And then we can see details about the demands. In this case, the G1 is more cheaper than G2. So what we can do next? We did the model, we solved the problem. Well, if we already have the model, we can change numbers and play with different kinds of scenarios without having to make anything from the beginning. So in this case, we are changing the capacity of generator 1 from 100 to 150. And as the demand of the total demand is 150, and the G1 is the more cheaper one, now we can see the G1 is providing the whole demand and G2 is not generating power. And what happened if we increase the price of G1? What happened is if now is not the more cheaper. Now we change from 12 to 25, and then we have an output, and now we can see that G2 is generating 10 megawatts more than G1. Do we have to analyze and write all these codes to solve all these problems? No, we don't have to. There is a lot of different softwares of optimizations like Plexus and a lot of different ways to solve these kinds of problems. But what we want to do here is have different kinds of options of how much you want to customize your model, how much parameters you want, how much parameters you have. So with MatPower right now, I am currently working in a larger 24 bus network. And in this part, this model is in progress. It's not finished yet. It's a really big network. And I hope keep working until in this progress, even after my internship ends. And this is the system of the 24 boxes. And in this case, we have a lot of details in data. We have a lot of information that we can use. We are using here technical data generation units, CAS and initial states of generation units. We have load profile, we have no location distribution, we have reactance and capacity of transmission lines. And the beautiful things about this is that we can also use and analyze those kinds of details information and create all model as we want. So this is how it goes. So basically you can see how MatPower looks in MATLAB. It's basically MATLAB. And it's not finished yet, as I told, but this is the structure of the model and about the progress. So lessons learned. I have been learning a lot every day during this internship. First of all, optimization analysis. This is my first time ever working with optimization. Optimization programming software packages, CVS and MatPower, same thing. Analyzing results is basically, I am really new analyzing all this real data and trying to understand and translate that to a model. And new things about myself, because before this internship, I identified programming as my weakness. And now I discover a lot of things about myself. So we as engineers, especially in electrical, we always want to maximize and minimize things. We want to minimize costs, we want to maximize reliability, we want to maximize welfare, and all these can be translated into optimization problems. And we can solve all of them in a different way. Some of them can be solved just with continuous variables and integer variables. So the beautiful things about this is that you can be able to create your own model and optimize whatever you want to do. So there's a lot to learn. And thank you. Any questions? Yeah, Lindy.
Oh, I was wondering what type of region are you making your 24 bus system for?
That bridge is a data of I don't remember exactly the details about where it takes. It's an IEEE data, and is a case when you have these 24 boxes, but you want in the future to connect different kinds of grids of wind. So you have the opportunity to maximize your area. But it can be whatever place. It can be here in Alaska. It can be in Puerto Rico. It can be in different places. And you can also use that model as the one that I show in CBS, and then customize of whatever you want. So you can change the values, and you can like adapt that to another case or another scenario. Yeah.
So the example you were giving was like optimizing for generator, like which generator has load. Is there, did you experiment at all with like optimizing for two different objectives? And I'm just curious, like if you're able to do that, like, so for example, like you want to optimize for cost, you also want to optimize for, I don't know, how long the systems last, and then is there some way to like optimize for multiple different things at the same time?
Yeah. For that reason, we establish first the parameters. For example, in that problem, I am not taking into consideration power loss. We have power loss by heat. They're not taking into consideration that in that problem, we having the same generation as the same demand. So you can establish different kinds of parameters that you want to the program to optimize, and you can identify what you want to maximize and then what you want to minimize, and run the program and create the model.
In all of the generators, are we saying like their efficiency curves are all the same and the power ratings are all the same, or are they like different? Like how are we taking that into consideration as well during like the optimization?
In what data?
The power ratings of like the generators,
Okay.
are we like varying those values as well, like the power node values as well, or?
The transmission lines. Are you talking about the two generators and the two demands?
Yeah, so
Yeah. No. G1 has 100 megawatts of maximum capacity. G2 has 80 as maximum capacity. And the total demand one is like 100 and demand two is like 50. So what you're like solving here is basically like an economic dispatch, but also you're taking into consideration the welfare, which is that you want to, everyone is happy. You have offer price, but you also have the bid price, which is how much money the people are available to pay for the energy. So at that moment, you just have a 180 of capacity if you add both generators, but you have 150 in demand. So the system is solving how much energy is going to power is going to provide each generator to being able with the social welfare.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, everything, and you establish the network that you have, even though I can add different kinds of, I can add a storage, I can add wind, I can add solar. You can have, you basically you adapt your network to the model. For that reason, you're creating, you're like coding your own model instead of just using a programming optimization software that sometimes can limit you in those way. So yeah, you can like customize whatever that you want in the way that you want to solve the problem and optimize what you are like thinking on your model.
Hey, Melody, that was just working. It's green.
Okay.
Okay, so that was actually, first of all, a fantastic presentation. I really appreciated how you walked us through your own journey, starting from the fundamentals, because most of us, myself included, don't really understand this topic. So I appreciated that. It helps provide the context to ask my next question, which is are these tools mostly used from a planning point of view, or would they also be used during operation to inform real world decisions in real time?
I personally think, and thank you for your words. Personally, I think that you can use them in whatever part of the area, because you can create X scenarios from the beginning, even if you don't have anything. For example, we don't have those generators right now, and we don't have those demands. They are not real right now. So you can create simulations of different kinds of X scenarios in the future, but you also can obtain data and of real like real X scenarios that are like real right now, and put that into the model. And every time that you want to optimize, you can keep using the models and the supports.
There's two questions up here. So what modeling platforms have you used and how could they be used in this project?
Okay, for modeling platform, really, what I choose that is more modeling was MatPower. And how can they be used in this project? They can be used in almost like any kinds of projects. Right now, my works was just understanding how to, because this was my first time ever work. I don't even know how much about optimization before this project. So, and the purpose of this was learn about these tools, learn about these skills, learn how to apply them to real data and real kinds of problems. But if we identify a future problem, or as I say, for example, in a future for the real world decarbonization project, you can definitely adapt this and apply to any optimization analysis that you want to do with these kinds of networks or utilities.
I have a question, Melody. So your work here up in Alaska, are you going back to Puerto Rico? Are you going to kind of go back with a different kind of mindset for when you go further with your college education? Yeah, I guess I want to know how this internship's going to maybe change your outlook on your future.
Yeah, definitely. I am not the same person that comes here the first day. For example, I at the beginning of this internship, I was really scared about programming because I don't identify that as a skill. I identified that as my weakness, and I discovered a lot of things about myself here, and I am really enjoying every part of this experience. So definitely, I am not the same person that is going home again. And I really want, for that reason, I want to keep working on these kinds of optimizations problems and analysis and make some stuff also in Puerto Rico. But yeah, I am not the same person. This opportunity has changed my life, and I seriously think that from the beginning, but now I can like say with confidence that it had been a really huge opportunity for me.
All right, thank you, Melody.